Hi, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act, 1956. The amount of maintenance in this act is discussed under Para 23. Court's discretion in awarding maintenance. The court has the authority to decide whether to award maintenance, and if so, the amount. This decision is not automatic, but is based on the specific factors outlined in the subsections 2 or 3 of the Act. These factors help ensure that the decision is fair and just. The court will apply the considerations from subsection 2 or 3, depending on the specific circumstances of the case. This means that the court will look at the relevant details and context to determine which factors are applicable. Going forward, we will discuss what sections 2 and 3 say. Subsection 2 typically pertains to maintenance for wife, children, or aged infirm parents. When determining the amount of maintenance to be awarded to a wife, children, or aged infirm parents, the court must consider the following factors. The court should evaluate the social and economic standing of both the claimant and the provider. This includes their lifestyle, social status, and financial situation. The court assesses the legitimate needs of the claimant, which are necessary for their well-being and standard of living. The term reasonable wants in the context of maintenance law refers to the legitimate needs and requirements of the claimant that are necessary for their well-being and standard of living, such as the basic necessities, which includes essential needs such as food, clothing, shelter, and health care. The court may consider the lifestyle the claimant was accustomed to before the separation or the death of the provider. This can include educational expenses, transportation, and other daily living costs. The claimant's requests must be justified and reasonable, meaning they should not be excessive or extravagant given the circumstances. The court will look at the overall context, including the claimant's current living situation, their ability to earn an income, and any other sources of support they might have. The court may compare the claimant's needs with the standard of living they enjoyed while living with the provider or before the provider's death. If the claimant is living separately from the provider, the court examines whether there is a valid reason for this separation. Justifiable reasons might include abuse, neglect, or other significant issues. The court considers the value of the claimant's property and any income they derive from it. This also includes the claimant's own earnings from employment or other sources. The aim is to understand the claimant's financial resources and needs. The court takes into account the total number of individuals who are entitled to maintenance under the Act. This helps in determining a fair distribution of the available resources among all eligible claimants. The purpose of these considerations is to ensure that the maintenance awarded is fair and adequate to meet the claimant's needs, while taking into account the provider's ability to pay. The court aims to balance the interests of both parties to achieve a just outcome. As per Section 3, when determining the amount of maintenance to be awarded to a dependent, the court must consider the following factors. Net value of the estate. The court evaluates the total value of the deceased's estate after all debts have been paid. This helps in understanding the available resources for maintenance. Provisions in the will. If the deceased made any specific provisions for the dependent in their will, the court takes these into account. This ensures that the deceased's wishes are respected and considered in the maintenance decision. Degree of relationship. The court considers the closeness of the relationship between the deceased and the dependent. Closer relationships might warrant higher maintenance due to stronger dependency. Reasonable wants of the dependent. The court assesses the legitimate needs of the dependent, which are necessary for their well-being and standard of living. This includes basic necessities and other reasonable expenses. Past relations. The court looks at the history of the relationship between the dependent and the deceased. This includes the nature and quality of their interactions, which can influence the maintenance amount. Value and income from property or earnings. The court considers the value of the dependent's property and any income they derive from it. This also includes the dependent's own earnings from employment or other sources. The aim is to understand the dependent's financial resources and needs. Number of dependents. Entitled to maintenance. The court takes into account the total number of individuals who are entitled to maintenance under the Act. This helps in determining a fair distribution of the available resources among all eligible dependents. Purpose. The purpose of these considerations is to ensure that the maintenance awarded is fair and adequate to meet the dependent's needs while taking into account the available resources and the deceased's intentions. The court aims to balance the interests of all parties to achieve a just outcome. Thank you for watching. If the video helped you understand the topic, please like, share, and subscribe.